Welcome back to more of The Sims 4. This, my friends, is episode 49, and therefore the penultimate episode of this series. It's all going to be wrapping up next time. So yeah, we're just going to enjoy some of the time we have left with these characters whose stories won't be continuing further on in future Sims series. I'll probably talk about that a lot more detail, obviously, in the next episode as we kind of come to an end. But the bulk of the action is going to be taking place in this household today, the classic Jalfonso house. But we are going to be seeing everyone because we have some very important family matters to attend to in this episode, is the plan. And the toilet's broken. That's not great. So Charlotte mop that up. And yeah, we're just going to be checking in with these guys. It's currently Sunday. It's the weekend. Winter is here. No one tell the Starks. So yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how this is all going to be playing out. It's kind of nice that the end of this series is going to be taking place during the winter. You know, as we come to the end of a year in Sims, we come to the end of the series as well. I think that's quite cool. But the most important development of all in this household is that Charlotte actually painted something that was good. Look at that! It's brilliant. The game says it's normal quality, whereas we've had like an awful masterpiece from her before. So I'm not quite sure what the Sims is thinking there. But clearly she's got a bit of a painting streak back because, my god, that's so much better than her previous efforts in the last episode focused on this household. But yes, we are with Leo, Charlotte, Tara, the dogs and the cat. And just checking in with them as they go about their days, living their best lives. And yeah, we're going to be hopefully addressing some family matters in this episode. I have a few little plans I want to do just to kind of celebrate these characters and how far they've come as we really start to wrap things up here. But yeah, it has kind of started to feel like an ending now, and it's one of those things where I'm sad to let a lot of these characters go because we've been doing this series for well over a year. I think it was a year last August, so like a year and a half we've been going now, maybe a bit more. So that's a long time to stick for one series, and it is kind of funny. Like recent episodes, like in terms of viewers, one of the main reasons I did end this series is like I felt it was time anyway, and you know, if people were going to be new to the series, there's a lot for them to catch up with if they want to, like 50 episodes of this and then an 8-episode spin-off about Leo at uni, all of that. But compared to like other gaming videos I've done, The Sims has never performed particularly well. So I thought, oh, we can try a new Sim series, something new, see how that goes, or just stop it altogether. But viewership's actually picked up quite a bit in the past few episodes, which I think is kind of funny, just as I decide to end it. But all good things must come to an end, and a lot of this episode is also going to be kind of a bit more set up. We've already been doing a lot of it. You've probably been able to guess exactly what we've been setting up for our supernatural spin-off. That's going to be happening very soon after this series concludes, featuring Daniel. We're going to be doing a bit more of that in this episode, hopefully, if we have the time, because I don't want the final episode of this series to all be about, well, you know, keep watching this other new thing with these new characters and stuff. It very much needs to be about this family here, because they are the heart and soul of this series. Like, way back when, old Leo here, we saw him be born, and now he's an old man. It was funny, actually, before I started recording, he got a cold, and it made his hair go brown again, which I thought was an interesting little side effect of that illness. And as soon as he was cured, he went grey, so he probably wasn't actually best pleased about being cured, but there you go. Either way, we are back in this household, and first things first, we're actually going to have Willow and Daniel visit, not just for a few hours, but for a few days. We're actually going to add them to the household for a bit, because they've decided to stay for a few days this week to talk some family matters, etc. And there's a few order of businesses that Willow wanted to talk about in terms of like the futures of the houses, stuff like that, and another very sad but also very special thing. Okay, so Daniel and Willow are here and temporarily part of the family in this household, because they have some urgent matters to attend to. Well, maybe not necessarily urgent, but Leo and Willow, I think they've been talking a bit. Oh, why does Apollo... Not quite sure what Apollo was doing then. Maybe they're just napping. Either way, the dogs seem excited to see new, unfamiliar people. But yeah, Leo and Willow have probably been talking. they're very, very aware. You know, they're getting older. They don't have long left, very sadly. And I've just realised this is the first time Leo and Willow have lived in the same household, technically, for quite a while, which is kind of wholesome. But yeah, they've been talking. They need to slow down. They need to sort out things. You know, they need to get their assets and stuff in order for when the time inevitably comes. So they were like, well, why don't you stay in the house for a few days? You know, it's going to be kind of nostalgic for you to stay here since you kind of spent a lot of your life growing up here. These two are getting reacquainted. Charlotte is painting... I mean, I'm not sure what that is. It might be my soul, actually. It's a very faithful rendition of it. But either way, sell it, please. But yeah, just invited them to stay for a bit. To see these two chat and catch up is also very, very wholesome. Look at that. The main thing they all want to discuss really is their houses and what they're going to do with them. There's, you know, who do you leave what to, stuff like that. Do you want to keep the houses in the family? Do you want to sell them on? Willow, I don't think she minds, like the house that she lives in at Glenbrook, obviously. That was kind of her and Rocco's house. She doesn't really know. Oh, look. How about that? I even said in the last episode, maybe Daniel should have the gym equipment in this house because he's getting into it recently. Automatically using it, look. Proving my point. Thank you, Daniel. I must know you well. But yeah, that's probably what these adults are having an in-depth discussion about. Willow doesn't mind selling on the house that her and Rocco kind of bought together and lived in. Or she may leave it to Daniel yet for his own security. But she's also wondering, would Daniel rather inherit this Jalfonso house, or is that something maybe to leave for Tara when she's of age? For now, I think Leo's kind of arranged it to be in Charlotte's name, so when he passes away, it will be Charlotte's, and then she can decide who gets it from there. But Charlotte, you know, she's like, well, you guys grew up in this house, it's completely up to you to decide who lives where, who gets what, or if you just want to sell them both. Because she does have it in her mind that, you know, she's been a diver most of her life. That was her living. She absolutely wants to retire to Solani, ultimately, if, you know, she lives long enough after Leo goes to actually make that possible. And it depends what kind of state she's in at that point, whether or not she really will move there, but we'll have to wait and see. But Widow's also like, well, you know, I chose to leave this house. I moved in with Rocco and Daniel to another place. I haven't lived here in a very long time. So it definitely feels like more... Jay's spirit's fading away, oh god, that's depressing. It definitely feels like more your guys' house than anything else. It doesn't quite feel like mine anymore. Maybe if I was still around when maybe, you know, Jay passed away, or Dad, as she would say, but now it feels a bit different to that, and it feels like this place doesn't quite belong to her anymore. So she's not sure if... Oh. I was like, is this place on fire? But I think that's just a fireplace you can't see. Yeah. But she's just saying, you know, I'm not sure. Maybe then should it even be Daniel's here? Speaking of the devil, he's like, oh, are you talking about inheritance? Hello. I'm sure he's not quite like that. So yeah, there's kind of lots of debates to be had about exactly what the fate's going to be of the houses. I think no matter what, at least this Jalfonso house will be staying in the family. Just depends whether Daniel or Tara will want it, because obviously Tara's still quite young. She's not going to be old enough to just inherit the house and the bills and everything just yet. Daniel will be by the time it would become his, and that's I think what these two are talking about now. But Daniel's also saying, you know, I've lived here for some of my life. I've lived in our other house for a lot of my life as well. I'm kind of looking for maybe pastures new, because obviously they don't know his own little adventure that he's been going on in terms of like trying to track down vampires and stuff, his new growing interest in the supernatural. So he's kind of saying and hinting at, you know, I don't know if I want to be tied down to a place like this particularly, but, you know, to make it work legally and stuff, I'll happily kind of have it be in my name, and then when Tara's of age I can just pass it on to her. But I'm quite keen to explore new opportunities and maybe live elsewhere, maybe live out in the city somewhere, maybe live somewhere else entirely. Daniel he really feels like lately, Charlotte please, Leo please, hello, But he really does seem to have kind of discovered himself, you know, more recently in recent episodes. And he just seems like he's seeking that adventure now, I think. He's got a bit of a taste for it, if you will. So I think ultimately the Jalfonso house will be inherited by Tara if she still wants it. And then it's kind of up to her what happens. But yeah, Daniel probably wants to move on for something else. But he will take it on for, you know, momentarily if he needs to. So I think, you know, they're very respectful of what Daniel would want, and Tara, I don't think she's quite old enough yet to really understand exactly what it would mean to like own her own house, the bills, all that jazz. So it's not really a conversation they can have with her just yet, but they want to do what feels right to them, and they know they want to at least keep this house in their family, if nothing else. And, you know, either way, until at least Tara's generation, it is seemingly going to be. So they're kind of happy to have talked that out and discussed the future of the house in that sense. But Willow actually did have another order of business for being here, and it's just started to snow, which I think has come from the dearly departed Rocco making that happen, because they'd already talked about this previously as well, in terms of like sorting out family matters, getting affairs in order, making sure that this house at least stays in the family. Mainly because obviously her dads are buried here, her childhood pets are buried here, and now they've already talked about transferring Rocco's grave here, so he is now alongside Alfonso and Jay in this little kind of memorial garden in the Jalfonso house. So just to keep all the family together, it just feels right that they'd all be in the same spot. So that was another big reason that Willow and Daniel wanted to visit for a bit, just to make sure, you know, Rocco was with a lot of his family here. A surprisingly beautiful scene, actually. Just, you know, these Sims and these pets that we've lost along the way. You know, good old Mayor Whiskers way back when. Remember Mayor Whiskers? Tara's probably ultimately going to be the one who gets the house. But I think Daniel can inherit this gym equipment for sure, and put that wherever he needs to. He doesn't really feel like he wants the pressure of just owning his own house and having all that on him. I think he wants to be a bit more free and expansive around that. You know, if any supernatural things happen that he wants to keep track of, and they may happen all around the world, he doesn't want to necessarily be tied to a particular place. So yeah, I think he's going to be looking for something that's not quite his, somewhere he can live and exist just fine, but I don't think he's properly ready to settle down in like a house of his own or anything anytime soon. Okay, so the next morning, and Daniel's actually received a call from Vlad, the head honcho vampire guy. He's kind of been summoned to a meeting saying there's been an urgent development in your search, and when you can get away today, come to my house as soon as possible. I think you're going to want to be there. So I think he's going to agree, find a way to sneak off if he needs to, make some excuses. So yes, hopefully there's going to be an interesting meeting later on. This dog just never stays clean, does it? Anyway, it is now Monday, so Tara's off to school. How are your grades looking, Tara? You're an A-grade student. Nice. Let's have you study hard for the day. Why not? Obviously, Willow's retired. Leo's retired. Charlotte, it says she's a day off, but I think sometimes it just randomizes when her days off actually are. So, we'll leave you to your business. If you have work later. Okay, why do we have puddles here? Why is that a thing that's happening? I don't know, but either way. How about you get changed, Daniel? Because you, my friend, have somewhere to be. Look, he wants to go running. Look. No. No more working out for you. You're still sore. You're going to get changed, and you're going to tell everyone that, oh, I'm just meeting Bentley for the day. We're going to spend a few hours together. I'll be back later on. But he's not meeting Bentley, guys. You may have guessed. He's got a meeting to attend. So Daniel's made it to the meeting. Immediately doing press-ups and ruining my shot. But imagine his surprise when he sees that Vlad isn't alone at his house. Because he arrives to see Vlad talking to someone. This blonde gentleman. And now it seems like he's coming over to introduce himself. But yes, this, ladies and gentlemen, Daniel recognises straight away, because he recently found a photo of him online, And this is Kai Lockwood. This is the mysterious vampire back in town who Vlad tasked him to track down. And he's kind of been saying, I've been informed that you've been looking for me, so I thought I'd just make it a bit easier and show myself. I always was intending on, reporting to Vlad, telling him that I'm around, because I know his position in the vampire world. But I was just getting settled back in. But my landlady in the new place that I'm living in informed me that you've been looking for me and trying to track me down. I had made several breakthroughs, and of course Daniel was going to be confused, like how the hell did she know that? And he's just like, you'll know when you meet her, and I'm sure you will one day. And I've just realised Daniel is going to freeze to death because it's quite cold, but Kai does not have that problem. But as you can see, Kai very much is blonde like the photo, and around his mid-20s is when seemingly he became a vampire. And he has confirmed to this point, as they're getting to know each other, he wasn't born a vampire, he didn't have vampire parents or anything. He very much was turned into a vampire. Delving into that much further, he is seemingly reluctant to. But either way, he wanted to introduce himself because he was intrigued by exactly why Daniel's getting involved in the supernatural, showing off his teeth there, of course, just to prove that he's a vampire. And Daniel's like, well, I'm an alien, so I'm kind of genetically have an interest in this kind of thing anyway. And I think he's very interested in that, old Kai, meeting an alien. So I don't think he's been isolated for a very long time. He's only just kind of talking to people again, getting back in the community. So he hasn't actually met an alien before. So he's very fascinated by Daniel. And he's just explained like, my dad's a sorcerer. I'm getting quite involved in the supernatural. It was just kind of a random thing I stumbled upon, but it's been sparking a genuine interest in me, and I hadn't really had that about any subject before. So Kai's kind of saying, well, if you really want to know more about the supernatural world and everything, my landlady she owns a huge house that's been in her family for a while. There are plenty of rooms in there, and she's only just started renting them out. I've got one. I know a few have been filled, but there is still one available. So how would you feel about maybe moving in and meeting a whole load of interesting people, I can assure you. So I think that's going to give Daniel something to seriously consider, and I think he doesn't have to consider it for long. So he's very much like, that sounds incredible, very spontaneous, but he wants that adventure, and that could be like the perfect place that he's been looking for, just for himself, to have somewhere he can make his mark, but he doesn't have to have the responsibilities of owning a place. But also, he seems to be able to perfectly dive into the supernatural world there. So that's what's going to be happening, and as you may have guessed, that's going to be a pretty big foundation for our supernatural spin-off that'll be kicking off when this series concludes. Daniel and Kai, and a few other faces that you'll meet when that series kicks off. Oh, and now you're doing press-ups as well. They already have something in common. I'm sure these two are going to be great friends. And there's Bentley saying, "Oh, do you want to go on a date?" But he's like, "Oh, I can't right now. Sorry, I'm just spending time with the family, just talking about houses and uni. I'll call you back. So yeah, in reality, he's just kind of catching up with Kai and getting to know him properly. But very interesting figure. Daniel's desperate to know more, but trying to get into the actual details of his past hasn't really worked yet, and Kai doesn't seem willing to share any more than he needs to just now. So yes, seems like these two are going to be living together with a whole bunch of other people, and hopefully, well, there you go. Thank God he already told him he's an alien, because he certainly knows now. But yeah, they're going to be living with a whole bunch of interesting characters, well, hopefully interesting characters that I've been working hard on, and hopefully you guys will enjoy if you stick around for the spin-off. But yes, Daniel seemingly has a new place to live. Kai's like, oh, there's no rush, I'll just, I'll let her know that you're interested in the room, and it will be there waiting for you when you're ready for it. And yeah, he's obviously very nervous about that prospect, and he needs to go home now, but excited too. And Kai is going back to talk with Vlad now in Vlad's place. Exactly what they're going to be talking about, I guess we'll have to find that out in some other series. Oh wow, winter really is here. In the time that Daniel's been visiting Kai and Vlad, it's actually properly snowed and settled everywhere. So there you go. Needs to get back inside now. He's embarrassed at revealing his alien nature. But you don't need to be embarrassed anymore. People are cool in The Sims now, it's fine. But I think he's kind of on a high still, regardless of like, oh, I just met Kai, you know, I tracked him down. I've just met a proper vampire. It's going to be amazing. And a shared confidence from empathizing with others. So what he got from Kai then, he was like alien reading him. Obviously, Kai seems like a very confident person, it would seem, at least on the outside. He's kind of taken some of that on board himself. And yeah, oh, Shark's painting something. That was kind of cool. Cats again, sticking with their cat theme. But yes, how about you guys get changed? I'm going to pretend you've been changed all day, because that would be good. It is fun to see them within the same household again. But yeah, Daniel, going over to your mum. So he's just kind of saying, so you know you've been talking about houses and stuff and me inheriting and stuff, and you know I'm fully happy to take the house on board in my name until Tara's ready, but I really think you should kind of give it to her, because I'm talking with some friends, you know, mutual friends that me and Bentley know, about maybe moving in together somewhere. They've offered me a room, so it's waiting for me whenever I'm ready for it. You know, obviously not immediately am I going to move out or anything. I'm not going to leave you like that. But I do kind of have potentially somewhere I want to go. And when I was like, well, you know, if you're sure that's a big step you want to take, I'm, you know, here for your happiness. And if that's going to make you happy, if that's what you want to do, absolutely go for it. You know, take that chance. And I'm very proud of you for kind of making that leap on your own. And, oh, those two being flirty, of course. What else is new? And exercise. So he's like, okay, energized and pumped. This is going to be wonderful. God knows what's going to be ahead of me now that I have a crazy new life potentially waiting for me. So yeah, Willow obviously doesn't know exactly what Daniel's getting himself into by moving in with a vampire, the mysterious landlady, and all these other tenants in the house, whoever those people are going to be. But yeah, for now, she can just be very proud and very happy that her son seems to be making big steps for his future. And she's also playing a video game with Tara, which is pretty damn adorable. No plants need tending. Leo seems very keen to tend some plants. I'm like, Leo, it's winter, they're all dead, of course there are no plants to tend. But yeah, I guess we're just going to have a nice chill evening now. Actually, Daniel, once you're done exercising, call Bentley and just like say, oh, I'm sorry about earlier. Oh look, him and Kai have already got a pretty decent relationship. He already likes Kai better than Vlad, which I think is fair. Vlad's kind of creepy. But yeah, call and chat with Bentley when you're done exercising. Just kind of apologise for not being able to go out with him earlier. But now he's got some dates in set and he's got a place to move to, and you know he knows Bentley's going to be going to uni anyway, so it's not like they were going to be living together at any point anytime soon. It's cool, and he can spend some time with Bentley while they still can. Oh my god, Bentley's instantly phoning back saying, let's go to the Humour and Hijinks Festival. So I guess we're going there. So those two are just going to hang out and be all sweet and adorable together at the Humour and Hijinks Festival. We're not actually going to stick with these guys, we are going to switch back, just because there's already been a very Daniel-centric episode so far. But yeah, I'm sure those two are going to have a fun day at the festival. So Willow, I thought since you're back in this house where you first started really writing everything, maybe you could write some of the books here. Just, you know, get some new inspiration, and writing books in the house you spent so many of your years in again, I think would be really interesting. So let's get you on that ASAP. Lies my writing teacher told me. I love that name, so we're going with that. You write that. Father and daughter playing video games together. Wholesome. Tara's actually come up to Leo and is kind of asking, so I was like hearing you guys all talking, all you adults and stuff, about the houses and stuff, and like it sounds really complicated and everything. Did you work it all out and stuff? And he's like, oh yeah, absolutely, it's all going to be just fine. You know, we're just making sure that you and your mum are going to be okay, because, you know, I'm not going to be around forever. and I just want to make sure things are in place for you two, because, you know, you two are the people who matter the most to me. You are both the loves of my life, and I want to make sure you're taken care of, and you're going to have a roof over your head. You're going to have a secure, happy future. And, you know, I think in years to come, Tara will look very fondly back on what her dad said to her there, and realise just how wonderful it is and how meaningful it is, that moment, to hear that. But obviously, she's still just a kid. She's not too... Oh, well, okay. Way to kill the moment, Tara. She's not too properly in tune with, like, adulthood and everything, because no one is until they're there, and it's awful. So, yeah, Charlotte's back from work now. But just reflecting on, like, a happy future that he was kind of telling Tara about with his wife. He's even come out to greet her. Oh, to kiss her. Wholesome scenes with those two. I think that's kind of got some wheels turning for Leo. And it's just, you know, yet another reminder of how happy he's been with Charlotte, how she kind of really helped him out of a bad spot when they first met and fell in love and all of that. So he's just coming over to Charlotte now and saying, I've kind of had a bit of an idea, a bit of a spontaneous thing that I think could be a great celebration of, you know, our life together, what we've had, since it's a very nostalgic time, getting everything in order. It's something I never thought I'd ever want to do, or hadn't really thought about doing until now, but how would you feel about it? And Charlotte's actually kind of ecstatic about the idea, as you can see. So they've got a plan ahead for maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, but they're going to get some wheels in motion, and they're really seizing the opportunity because Willow and Daniel are living with them at the moment for a few days, and they want to make the most of their time there. So they have an idea to really celebrate their love and everyone's love and each other, this whole family. So yeah, express fondness, there you go. The wheels are truly turning. A plan has formed between these two. A proposal, you might say. So yes, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully tomorrow, if they can organise everything okay. Oh my god, the impossible has happened. A sim has just taken some dirty plates and actually put them away properly. What on earth? I mean, there is literally a half-used bowl of food there that no one's finished off, but that's something I haven't seen in a while. And Tara's taking out the trash. She's like, I'm the backbone of this household. Willow's not going to go to bed quite yet. Oh my god. Okay, well, let's leave Daniel to exercise a bit, since he's in the mood to. He's energized. It's the perfect mood to doing it. And Willow's going to step a bit longer as well. Oh, I was going to say, so she can finish her book. She just finished it. So there you go. And you might as well publish it while you're here. So there we go. Boom. So yet another book done. People keep checking Tara's birth certificate, which, I mean, if you want to, that's fine. So yeah, now I suppose you can go to bed. Oh look, Rocco's ghost's here. He's just talking to the dogs. I guess now his grave's at this house, he can kind of, yeah, come to this place. And he's even cleaning up for people. Rocco, you're the best. Oh, well, you just broke our sink. But apart from that, you're the best. Okay, it's not even 6 AM yet, but people just do not want to sleep in this house. So Charlotte's inspired. She's going to do a painting. It's fine. Tara's just stood there contemplating life, the universe. Daniel is hungry and wants to eat some peas for breakfast. You're also desperate for the toilet. So, I mean, mate, peas can wait. Just go to the bathroom. Poor Apollo. He's scared of everything, bless him. He's scared of the equipment. I suppose he hasn't really needed to fear it because no one's properly using it. Until old Daniel came along. And he's getting his money's worth out of it. Okay, so we have Leo and Willow building a snow pile together. They probably did this as kids, I can't remember now. But here they are as elders doing it, and is that not the most wholesome thing you ever did see? I love it. Still children at heart, they'll always be the little twin alien babies we weren't expecting to have when Jay and Alfonso were still just like roommates. And look how far they've come. I am going to be sad to lose these two when the time comes, which will almost certainly be in the next episode. Probably not this one. I feel like they still have a few extra days left. There you go. That's an excellent snow pal. I love it. And yeah, I think he's just kind of thanking Willow for staying with him for a bit and getting everything sorted. He feels a lot better about things now. You can still see Daniel using the running machine in the background. Yeah, he's kind of, I think, also telling her about his plans for the day, which he's very excited for. But yeah, it's cool that these two get to spend some time together again properly, living under the same roof for a bit. Yeah, like the oldest two Sims we have left. And they have been through quite a lot together, I think it's safe to say. But their sibling bond, their twin bond, has always remained very strong and true, which I really like. So yeah, to see that these two can still have moments like these, just building a snowplow together, even after all these years by each other's side, I really like it. And I think in many ways, because they've been around for so long, these two are kind of the heart of this series ultimately. And just as Daniel reaches level 5 fitness, Tara is now sick with worry. It's test day and Tara is so nervous she totally blanks. Even copying her neighbour won't work because her neighbour is a D student. What to do? Feign illness? Just take deep breaths. Take some deep breaths. You'll be fine. You'll get through it. But yeah, those two are just so wholesome, and I love that they can reminisce like this. And yeah, I think in many ways they are the heart of what we've done with this story that we've told. So I'm going to be sad to see it come to an end with them. Tara tries to quell her anxiety by taking big deep breaths, and what do you know, it works. Sure, her classmates shoot her some funny looks, but when you're an A student, you have to take every test seriously. Well done, Tara. I knew that would work out well. Kai Lockwood would like to come over and hang out, eh? That's kind of risky. I don't think Daniel's going to risk that just yet. He's like, let's maybe when we actually live together and we can work it out, because none of them really know exactly what Daniel's been up to recently with the whole vampire thing. So it might be hard to keep Kai being a vampire a secret from them if he just pops around for a visit. Maybe one day he'll tell people a bit more. We'll have to wait and see. I'm getting a bit worried about Daniel now. Like, I swear he's done exercise today and nothing else. But he's not, like, tired or anything, I don't think. I guess he's just really into this stuff. Maybe we've... Oh! Okay. Got a long way to go, as you can see. Giving himself head concussion, but that's fine. Yeah, maybe in the long run, we could consider Daniel being an athlete. Maybe that's kind of his calling. Maybe we've been discovering it now through this, because he's really all about this. I know he's not perfect at it, but maybe, the supernatural stuff can lead to some career, but it's also would be good for him to maybe have a backup. So I think he should definitely keep up his training and everything. Look at that determination on his face. He's like, yes, I'm going to live with a vampire and God knows who else, but goddamn am I going to make it work. I like Willow's, deep interest in video games. Ever since she's got back in this house, she just played a load of video games. Okay, really now, it's just a waiting game. For Tara to get back to school, and then these two can enact a little bit of their plans they've been putting together. Video game in level 6 for Willow. These two getting very flirty, which is kind of the appropriate thing, I suppose. Tara is one of the top students at Landgrab Elementary. Keep up the good work. Excellent. Well done, Tara. But as soon as she gets home, they're like, well, Tara, we have a bit of a thing we're going to do. Get changed into something nice, because we are heading out for a little family outing since we're all here. So everyone has come to the park. They're just rushing down here. Don't know how long they're going to stay in their formal outfits, but hopefully they're kind of warm enough. Fireworks are going off, which is kind of crazy, but we're here in this nice little place. And actually, Leo and Charlotte have decided to renew their wedding vows. Just because of the nostalgia of it all and everything, I think they're just wanting to celebrate their love as they kind of have to enter the final stages of their lives together. They just want to remind each other of how much they love each other, how great their lives have been together, what an amazing family they kind of have around them, the daughter they had, the home they've shared together, all of that. Exactly where Tara's gone, I don't know. She's only just got the memo. So yeah, I thought it'd just be a nice thing to do. I don't think I've had Sims renew their vows before like this. So there you go. I thought that was kind of a wholesome thing to do, because those two have had quite a wonderful love. I kind of wish I had done this with Willow and Rocco before he passed away. You can have your married Sims move in together. I'm well aware they've been married They've been married for years. It's okay. But yeah, I just thought that'd be a fun little celebration of all their love together. Because it's a nostalgic time for them, all being together again, talking about things in the future. It's going to get them thinking about the past. So yeah, why don't we all we have children around, so maybe make some juice or something for everyone to drink. Somehow Tara's managed to find some cereal. I don't know quite how she managed that, but good for her, I guess. Oh, and Ware's like, oh, I'll cook something. We're going to make quite the grand meal of this. So they've even got like a kind of reception after the wedding, which I like. So yeah, look at this family. Look at this motley crew. They've had their ups, they've had their downs, but they've always got each other's backs. And long after a lot of these guys are gone, long into the future, it will continue to stay that way, I'm sure. I have no doubt. So yeah, with that, I'm actually going to call it a day for this episode, and it's kind of weird that there's not many more times I'm going to have to wrap up episodes of this series. But yeah, don't know where Daniel went off to, but still, we have a cool shot of these four, so I'll take it. Lots of stuff going down. Daniel finally met Kai Lockwood, and he has a potential future there, moving into this mysterious household with this mysterious landlady. That's going to be a lot to delve into in the future, I'm sure. Leo and Charlotte renewed their wedding vows, which is very sweet. Willow and Daniel have been staying with these guys for a few days, put Rocco's grave back in the Jalfonso house, sorting stuff out, who's going to get what houses they're going to sell on. Still a few things undecided, but I'm sure they'll come to the arrangement. I think they have that feeling, especially on a day like today with the vow renewal and everything. They just know everything's going to be alright. It'll work out in the end. And I have no doubt that it will, because they've been here for the long haul. They've had quite the crazy beginning to a lot of their stories with these guys. I like to think, losses aside, they've had a pretty decent middle of their story, and I guess next time we're going to find out how the story of these guys, these three in particular, how their story is going to end as we approach the final episode of this series, which will be coming very, very soon. But yeah, that's going to be everything for this episode. Let me know your final thoughts on what you might want to see happen to these guys in the last episode of the series, wrapping up their story, starting a few new ones obviously with Daniel, but we'll talk more about that in the next one. And yeah, that's going to be everything for this episode. Until next time, thanks for watching.